Hello, and welcome to the Castle Talk podcast, where we talk to writers and creators of today's genre worlds. From Denver, Colorado, I'm your host, Jason Henderson, author of the Alex Van Helsing novels from HarperCollins. Tonight, our guest is Sarah Habel, an American actress notable for her role as Miss Grundy on Riverdale, which, by the way, everybody in my household is completely addicted to, and now as the star of the film Atomica from Syfy Films. Sarah was born and raised in Detroit, got her start in film and TV with a supporting role in Drew Barrymore's Whip It. She has a BA from Michigan State, most recently a study at the Moss Studio, and her other credits include films Warren, Hostel Part 3, and stars Party Down, which I also loved. You live in Los Angeles with your husband and daughter. So welcome, Ms. Habel.
Thank you. It's so good to be with you.
Oh, I'm very pleased to talk to you. Okay, so Atomica is what we're talking about today. Atomica is coming out this month theatrically from Syfy Films. So in it, you play a safety inspector who has to venture out to this remote nuclear power plant, and you wind up in a sort of psychodrama involving Dominic Monaghan. So my first question on watching this film is, where the hell was this thing shot? I mean, is this when you're like walking down this like mile long circular corridor, is this a set? What is this?
This is real life, people. It is an abandoned underground nuclear missile silo that in rural Washington state. It is 3 stories below ground. It is cold. It is the home of many bats and owls and different other kinds of wildlife.
Wow.
And it's super creepy and the perfect location for this film, I think.
That is really cool. No, it looked amazing. I mean, I was looking and I was going, because there are points where you have to like cross these vast areas of this base, and I was thought that it looked very practical, and so there's probably some benefit to that instead of, say, like in putting you in front of just a green screen and pretending to be in a base or something.
Right. That would have made my job a lot more challenging. No, this set itself was, it was at the same time claustrophobic because we were below ground, but also like so vast that you were always kind of afraid of getting lost, and it was dark down there. It definitely added to the chilling sort of tension that the film tries to create.
How long did this take to film?
It was about a month of principal photography, and then we did a couple additional, like the stuff in the desert was an extra day.
Wow. So every day for about a month, you're basically going underground. What I thought was really interesting is that this script reminded me of like a Twilight Zone episode in a sense, because it's you and Tom Sizemore and Dominic Monaghan, where you're in a few sets and you're constantly sort of trying to figure out who's telling the truth, which one of these is a good guy, which one is a bad guy, are either of them trustworthy. Did it feel in many senses like you were doing a play?
No, a lot of people have asked me that, and yeah, it actually really did. I mean, just the constraints of the space and the time, it's actually quite a classical setup for a story. And it did, the three-hander nature, it helped harken back to my theater roots, my drama school days. And that's one thing that really sticks with me is the simplicity of those of figuring out just those 3 people and the way they're interconnected. It was unlike anything I've ever really done before, and also as the mirror or rather like the window into this world. Abby is experiencing it just as the audience is. So it's a huge responsibility, but also a huge to interact with these 2 very charismatic and like very convincing, seasoned veteran actors, and try and figure out who to believe, without giving away too much of herself. It was a very challenging but also enriching role for me.
It was very believable. I mean, you really, your knowledge of this plant theoretically, then facing up against the reality, again, in the fiction of the world, but you've studied these, but you've never actually been in one like this, and then having to grapple with this enormous plant. I want to switch really quickly. Okay, so people can
Hmm.
catch Atomica very soon, but I want to switch really quickly and ask you about Riverdale. You played Mrs. Grundy.
Yeah,
Will this character be back?
it remains to be seen. Anything is possible in the world. Um, I mean, she had a pretty explosive exit from the from the town, but I mean, who wouldn't want to capitalize
No,
on that kind
absolutely.
of energy? I had such a strong reaction on social media from everybody. Like, people love Miss Grundy or they hate Miss Grundy. It's like
Yeah.
she's very divisive, and it was such a cool opportunity to play someone who's doing like not a very good thing,
No.
but she's kind of not really doing it for any of the wrong reasons. Like she's just really she's got her own past and history, and it led her down this kind of crooked path. So it
Yeah.
was just super cool
You played
role
it
for
as
me.
though she were in the end, a fairly gentle, well, almost in the end, a fairly gentle
Mhm.
soul who was making some
Mhm.
maybe not the wisest choices. But then there's a flip at the
Mhm.
end when suddenly you become aware that she might
Mhm.
actually have more layers than that. And it was a very I thought it was a wonderfully dark character, and I liked that character a lot. So, congratulations on a wonderful
Thank
role,
you. Yeah.
regardless.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was cool to be able to play someone dark and someone sort of off. Does a character tiny bit off, like you don't really understand. Like it's more of the
Yeah,
Dominic Monaghan role of Riverdale, but
yeah,
she's still soft. She doesn't have to be covered in tattoos and super tough to be.
yeah, absolutely. Because that's just the surface. That's not what defines
Mm-hmm.
toughness or darkness. I got one more question for you, and then I know I have to
Exactly.
let you go.
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
you're something like
Mm-hmm.
Atomica is coming out, or you have an episode on Riverdale, do you stalk yourself online? Do you read like what people are saying and or do you stay away from that stuff?
I do my very best to make myself available to people that want to talk to me about it. But I get real self conscious. Like I don't really watch the things that I do right away because I need a little minute to process it. But I kind of
Do you read what people are saying, like on
I'm a
Twitter?
little I'm until it hurts my feelings,
Oh,
and then I go play with my kids.
oh God, I'm sorry. That no, it must be awful. But
No, but it's also great. Like I want to hear. I want to know that it made an impact. So it's all good. I just like
yeah,
I'm a softie.
yeah. No, I can imagine. I mean, I've
Mhm.
talked to writers,
Mhm.
of hit shows, and I'll say, you don't
Mhm.
go and look at the comments there and she's like, oh, we absolutely look at the comments. She's like, hell yeah, we can't not look. You,
Mhm. Oh
you
yeah, you
must
gotta
look.
know. You gotta know. It's like watching that zit popping video. It's like no,
Yeah.
I don't want to see the pet squirt out, but I have to.
Ah, well, wonderful. Okay. Sarah Habel, I really appreciate that you're willing to spend time with me and talk about Atomica, which is coming this month from Syfy Films, and we've really enjoyed watching you be a terrible, terrible person on Riverdale, and hope you get to come back and be terrible some more. Thank you, and have a fantastic evening.
Thank you so much, and to you.